Hey guys, Garth1997 again, this time the review of the 1/100 scale Force Impulse Gundam plus Sword Silhouette Extra Finish version from the Gundam Seed Destiny series. And of course the first thing you'll immediately notice about this model is the striking color scheme, well, the extra finish on it. And I don't have another 1/100 scale Impulse to compare to, but I do have the 1/144 scale. And the one major difference is, of course, that the white has now become kind of a silverish gray, which does look really cool. Then we have the dark blue for the shoulders and the body, so pretty much the same. We have the teal here on the shoulders, on the skirts, and here on his cockpit. And there's yellow, yellow here, of course, on the vents. We have some red on the feet, the chest. Then to top it all off, we have some gray, and this is pretty much the same as the remastered gray they use for the 1/144 scales. So it's not really shiny, but it has more of a metallic feel to it. And yeah, the gray and the black is pretty much the same as the one used on the backpack. It's from separate runners, but I would say that the color is almost identical, if not the same. Now onto stickers, or a little bit more about the extra finish version. Of course, this wasn't originally a coded kit, which means you do get a few nut marks like here on the arms. It's mostly noticeable on the gray/silver, like on the blue. It's not really that obvious. One here. It's also on the teal, it also shows a little bit, but those are more well hidden. There's one like here and here on top of it. But overall, it's not too bad. It seems like in general they were kind of well hidden, but of course it will still show, which can be a problem. The stickers, we get the usual ones, such as the eyes, the main camera here. Then we also get this V symbol, which is also on the original Gundam's crotch. We get the yellow and black triangles on both kneecaps. Then we also get these giant red stickers. All the red on the wings stickers. And these wrap around this one big sticker. You wrap it around, and then you try to line it up as good as you can, and you hope that it kinda sticks, because these ends here, they do like to come off. And this time, it's actually a good thing that they're metallic red. Because when you look, for example, at the high grade here, it's also metallic red. In fact, it's the same metallic red. It looks really out of place with the normal models, but at least it looks good with the extra finish version. Then on to articulation. Head goes up and down on a ball joint, and then it's also on a separate hinge. So I'll go all the way back like that, all the way forward like that, and also a little bit chicken movement. Head also rotates around all the way. The arms, well, they kinda jiggle forwards and backwards, but that's just because the joints are really loose. We'll rotate around all the way until they hit the Force Silhouette. Waist movement, just basic left and right, until it hits the back skirt. And the legs, a bit more about the arms, of course. They go out about that far, 90 degrees. We'll rotate above the elbow. Elbow itself, only one joint, so you get about 90 degrees, a little bit more, I'd say. The hands are, of course, on ball joints, wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. The legs go forwards, all the way like that, until the front skirt pops out, which are, of course, individually molded and are on ball joints. So go about a little bit more than 90 degrees, and go backwards about that far. The legs will bend on a double joint, but the top joint doesn't really give a lot. You mainly get it from the bottom joint. Still not too bad. Then the foot, you of course have a movable ankle guard, and you get two joints. You have a hinge on top and then a ball joint in the bottom. So the feet go forwards. That doesn't look quite natural. Go back all the way like that. We'll also go side to side, quite far like that, and also quite far inwards. Go up about that far, down about that far. We also have a separate toe joint, which is of course necessary for the transformation. And then we'll rotate side to side that far and in about that far. Then there's also articulation on the force impulse, well, on the force silhouette. These pods here go up, down, and, well, not really in and out. You can force it a little bit, but that's just because the joints are a little bit on the loose side. And also, the top wings here fold in, go down, and when you pull it out, they go about that much down. There's not really a point to doing it, but yeah, it can do it. And let's put that back up and have a look at the accessories. Of course, we have two open holding hands to hold the accessories, such as the beam sabers. Unfortunately, there's also a little bit of plating on the inside, meaning that the beams are a little bit hard to get in. Yeah, you're gonna have to use your hobby knife to get the beams in there. However, they are a nice fit in the hands. Gotta push them in a little bit. Like this, they hold without a problem. Let's put that back. And of course, we don't just get the beam sabers, because when you open up the pouches, we see the armor schneiders. Pull it out. This is one in the stored version. It's a little bit hard to get out, but that's not actually a problem because you don't have to use it anyways. Because this is just a stored one, it's not going to open up because we do get this, an open version. You slide it into the hand and it sits there with no problem at all. And we remove this one and then we bring in the beam rifle. Unfortunately, no movable handle, but you do get a movable scope, so you can use it in both hands. Though, of course, you technically can't really do it because you only get one trigger finger hand. Put that in there. Then the final accessory for the force impulse is, of course, the shield. Great engineering. We have a giant hole here and a giant hole over there. Of course, the shield also transforms, but I'll show that with the actual transformation. So for now, just put that in there. Oh yeah, I have a little handle here, which can also be removed. So we attach that over there, and there we go. And we also get a few junk parts. We get an extra V-fin, which is of course handy in case you snap one of those. And then you get some extra junk parts for the shield. And the reason these are included is because you don't just get the force impulse, you also get the sword impulse. But once again, more about this one after the transformation. Then the last accessory you get is also this little flyer here, and let's immediately attach it. What you have to do is you have a little hinge here, and then you can either switch it between the peg for the impulse or the peg that goes into the thing that carries them. And wait, this should be up. Put that in here. And no, that was the correct one. So it should go. There we go. Now it's in there. And like I said, now it is time to do the transformation. And this is where the fun starts, since the first step involves ripping him apart. So let's do just that. Let's see, the legs, that immediately starts a ballet because this should also come up. There we go. Put that there, then let's rip off the backpack. And out goes the core splendor. Let's start by having a look at this little thing. And look at that. This core splendor really needs a diet. It's short, it's stubby, and it doesn't look good at all. And I can't get the wings out. Or, oh wait, they were the other way around. Oof. This looks pretty painful, especially when you compare it to the Master Grave Core Splendor. Yeah, not the greatest little airplane. Then we continue on with the torso. Really easy to transform. Just put this and the shield. Slide it in. You unpeg these. Unfortunately, you can't slide them like you can with the Master Grade. Peg and pop it in. Gotta make sure those side flaps are in there or it won't fit. And there we go. Pop out the shield. The handle this time pegs in like that. And now we're almost there. Whoops. Gotta get that out. And as you can see, the transformation is really easy to pull off. It goes quick and smooth. Just gotta get this out. Come on, we turn it around. Put it like this. The shield goes in and the top is almost transformed. Pull that out, turn it around. That's the top flyer. Then all that's left. This, we put the feet down. Like I said, it has that toe articulation because of the because of the transformation. Put down this. And actually, this is kind of pointless. It really reminds me of the transformation of the Wing Gundam. Or at least the Wing Zero. I haven't transformed the Wing yet, so I can't be sure, but the Wing Zero definitely has a transformation that's extremely similar to this, and also, of course, the Zeta Gundam. It's totally not ripping off anything, people. How could you possibly say that? So, that's the bottom. Then all that's left is this. You pop that up. Ooh, transformation. We grab the little docking thing, just like I said with the sword silhouette. You pull on that thing, and you pop it in here. And this is the launch sequence for the Impulse. So let's now recreate what we see in every single Gundam Seed Destiny episode. Pause the video and look up Shutsugeki Impulse, the soundtrack, and let's get going. Oh. Damn it. It's the third one. Alright, the Impulse has launched. Shin is tapping buttons. Let's see how quickly we can transform it back into the Impulse. Laser guided. Goes in there. The legs arrive. The laser shoots out. And the docking begins. Shin taps more buttons. Ooh, the legs fall out. In the meantime, the Force Impulse is already launched, on its way. Lasers once again shoot out. I mean, seriously, everyone who watched Gundam Seed Destiny has to know this sequence by heart. The amount of times you see it in the series is ridiculous. We have the Impulse. Now once again the backpack flies in, attaches, and he does his signature pose, and also does it in the middle of battle, which is a really great idea. But now let's have a look at the second backpack we get, namely the sword silhouette. So essentially attaches on here. Of course the problem is he doesn't change color. So you pull up these sticks and that goes up. And this folds down and also turns around. Attaches to the back. And essentially this kind of looks like a brick with a thruster, two swords, and a pair of boomerangs. Unfortunately. And here we have him with the Excalibur swords. And oh yeah, some more stickers. We got stickers on these boomerangs, and these really aren't that great because as you can see, there's some red showing here, some red showing on the bottom, and here is quite a lot of red showing here because I lined it up perfectly with the top, so it didn't really go all that well on the bottom. But do not fear, we get to see some cool stuff now, because we of course get a lot more beam effect parts. We get 2 for each of the boomerangs. Let's pull this out, put this in, and you heard that click. That's not coming out unless you wanted to. Feels a little bit shaky, but no problem. And in the hand, it's kind of the same way. It's a little bit shaky, but if you push it down hard enough, no problem at all. Except at the top, it's shaky, but you just gotta put it down so that the friction, of course, does keep it in hand. And when it's like this, it's not gonna go anywhere. Now the Excalibur swords, I'm gonna do a quick jump cut. As you can see, when he's holding it the way he should, it's really solid. It's not going anywhere. When he's holding it the way, well, the other way around, it's a little bit on the finicky side, but the only time he'd be holding it like this is when they're supposed to combine. So you can see there's a peg here, a hole on the other side, the other way around on the other one, and in they go. Well, actually the hole and the peg are of course on the same side, but because they're the other way around, it is like that. And it's a really nice solid connection. The only real problem I have with these swords is when you look at this, there's a little gap between the two parts because there aren't enough connectors on the inside to really snap the two parts together all that well. It's really unfortunate, but hey, once you have the beams in there, it doesn't show that much. Though I do have to warn you, sometimes they can go a little bit zigzag. Let's put that, oh, the other way around. Let's quickly put this in here. And unfortunately, this is the only beam you get. Well, you get 2 of those, but you don't get a nice one for the tip like you get with the Master Grade, or as is shown in the anime when he's doing his final fight against the Freedom Gundam. As you can see, it is warped a little bit upwards, which is really a shame. And I could have sworn when I got it out of the box it was even worse. But hey. So that's all for that. And I forgot about one final accessory. That is this. Usually you get like a pilot, you get like a card of the pilot, but this time you get some scenes from the actual fight. Like I said, the final fight with the Freedom, after which Kira just returned as if nothing had happened. And people wonder why they call him Kira Jesus Yamato. And 2 more quick things before we wrap up. These thrusters on the back of his legs also go upwards and downwards. And in case you don't want to use the beam rifle, whoops, you get a peg here. There's a hole over there. Then you can just clip it onto his butt. There you go. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, you might have thought, yeah, it's a really good looking model, the extra finish is really nice, articulation is okay, accessories are really cool, but I'll convince you otherwise by saying the price, which is a whopping 6,000 yen. The original Force Impulse retails for around 2,200 yen, albeit without the sword silhouette, but still, the Sword Impulse, the original one, retails for around 2,300 yen. So all things considered, when we take into account that you do get this extra silhouette, it's still at least twice as expensive just because of the coating. So yeah, and when we take into account that the Master Grade Sword Impulse and the Master Grade Force Impulse both retail for 4,500 yen, which is still significantly less than this kit, you might want to ask yourself, should I go for this shiny guy or for this much better Master Grade? Also, the Master Grade Force Impulse does come with the Source Silhouette too, which means the Master Grade has all the accessories this guy has, minus this little card here, Master Gradified, and with little extra touches added to it, such as landing gears and stuff, and actual connection parts to attach the individual parts to action bases. So for 1,500 yen less, eek. The main problem here is, as always, the price. For 6,000 yen, no, I definitely can't wholeheartedly recommend this. Actually, I would say go with the Master Grade. Leave the extra finish for what it is. It's just way too expensive for what it was, especially considering that those Master Grades are out there. But if you can find it for a good deal, let's say, I don't know, 40% off, 50% off, well, once the price goes down, this is instantly a very cool kit to have. It will definitely stand out on your shelf. It is, of course, the extra finish version, but still, at the end, my recommendation is shop around a little. Look for it at a cheap price, but definitely don't pay too much for this kit. Really, the Master Grade is much, much better. So finally, some comparisons. Just showed it with the Master Grade. Let's put it next to my modified Gale Strike here, of course. It's partially based on the Strike. And finally, let's put it next to his partner, the Gunner Zaku Warrior Luna Maria Hawk Custom. So, that's all for this review, and see you at the next one.